Krishna gave him the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, he was able to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Not like us, we are trying so hard to understand. But he understood it in 45 minutes. And what was the evidence that he understood it? Is that he said to Krishna, Karishya Vachanam Tava, I will do what you have suggested. And he himself declared that actually, Krishna, you are everything. And I am not only saying, Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarishi Naradastada, Asito Devalo Vyasa Swam Chaiva Pravishine, that all of these great saintly persons are also confirming what I'm saying. And I will now do what you want, not what I want. So he surrendered to Krishna. He fought on the battlefield, something he really did not want to do. He gave up his own desires and tried to fulfill the desires of Krishna. Very nice, exemplary activity he performed. And he was glorified. He's still being glorified. And then, that was just before the battle started. And a few days into the battle, his son Abhimanyu died. And he was killed. Now, if someone met with death by natural causes, we somehow accept it. But as soon as it seems like someone has caused it, unfairly, especially in an unfair manner, then we become very, very agitated. So, of course, we may have all heard that Abhimanyu was killed unfairly in battle. So many generals had to get together to try and kill him, when it was actually not as per the rules of Kshatriya Dharma that you fight, one-on-one. So unfairly they defeated him, they killed him. And what was Arjun's reaction? Arjun had already heard the Bhagavad Gita. He had already realized the philosophy of Vaishnavism, as it says in the Bhagavatam here, in this purport. But yet, he became very, very disturbed. He again started to cry for the loss of his son, and he wanted to exactly know the incidents, how it happened. And then when he was told how he was unfairly killed, he took a vow to kill he thought, the person who was the cause of it. And if I am not able to get rid of him by the end of the day, I will myself enter into fire. My God. So disturbed, so much affected, so much determined. Where did all that knowledge go? We may wonder, that he had from the Bhagavad Gita. And one may be further surprised even after that. What is the further surprise? That Krishna assisted him in that. Because Krishna actually gave him all that knowledge, saying that, you're not the body, you're the spirit soul, nobody ever dies. And here, Abhimanyu died. And Krishna assisted him in killing Jayadratha, who apparently was actually looking like the cause of his son's death. Immediately, we start looking at who is at fault. Now, so who is at fault, really? You see, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, Krishna describes what are the factors that contribute to an action. The first one is adhisthana, the sthana or the place. The second is the karta or the doer or the worker. the performer. The third, is the instruments, the karanam, that contributes to the action. The fourth is the endeavor behind that action. And there is a fifth one called Devam, which is the Supreme Lord himself. These are the 5 factors that contribute to an action. And whatever right or wrong someone does in terms of scriptural injunctions is done by these 5 factors. So, if that's the case, let us look at how look at these 5 a little more closely to understand them properly, instead of just going further. It's good to understand it properly. Look at the first 4. The first 4 are the place, the doer, or the performer of the action. Actually, it's the spirit soul. Then the doer, after the doer, it is the instruments. What are the instruments? The body, the senses that we have. These are the instruments with which we perform an action. The actions are performed by 3 ways: by our mind, by our senses or body, and by our speech, our words. Man, vachan, and karma. So, by the karma that is performed by the body. So these 3 are there. They contribute to that. So that's the instruments. And then the 4th one is the endeavor. And every action has its own associated endeavor. Different actions that you want the result for. Now, these 4 altogether are all material causes. Is one spiritual cause, the final soul, or the Paramatma in the heart. And you'll find that, a very nice verse that has been quoted here by Srila Prabhupada, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha Ahankar Vimudhatma Karta Aham Iti Manyate. Krishna says, the bewildered spirit soul under the influence of material nature thinks himself to be the doer, when actually the activity is being carried out by nature. But he thinks I'm carrying it out. Why does he think that? Why is it that we think we are the doers when actually nature is carrying it out? Why? Because we cannot see or understand the Supreme Lord. That's why. So if the Supreme Lord cannot be seen in an action, then naturally all you have is yourself. I am the doer. If you realize the Supreme Lord in every action, then you will see how he is the doer. I am not. The word that Srila Prabhupada uses to describe this is called super cause. It's like we say super soul. And then he is also called sometimes super cause. He's the cause of all causes. The sarva karana karanam, according to Brahma Samhita. So, who is actually the doer? The doer is hidden. All we see are material causes, and that puts us under illusion. The false ego is first there, and illusion gets built on top of it. because of ignorance. So ignorance is ignorance of the Lord, basically. And also ignorance of who is in control of all material things. So we just mentioned these 4 material causes and 1 spiritual cause. So these 4 material causes, if they are seen, they are also under the direction of Krishna. Because Krishna says, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti. The Prakriti is working under my direction. So who is the two again? Prakriti is also working under his direction. And so, the action that we perform, if we are ignorant of all the 5 factors, then we will immediately put a blame on one thing, because we don't know the other 5 factors, the other 4 factors. So the blame game actually goes on. Just like, whom do you blame? For this example, suppose, let's take an example everybody knows. I'm assuming that. Say the example of, Jay and Vijay, who were in the spiritual world. It is said that they became demons in this world for 3 lifetimes. And they caused a lot of havoc in this world. They did a lot of sinful activities. They caused so much distress to so many people here. So we may say, these are demons. They should actually be killed. Yeah, of course, Krishna killed them, but still. So they came as demons, Krishna killed them, but they were actually doorkeepers of the Vaikuntha Loka. So whose fault was it? Then someone will say it's the fault of the 4 Kumaras. Because the 4 Kumaras actually cursed them. That you come down, you are not fit to be here because you stopped us from going to see Narayan, and therefore you don't deserve to be in the spiritual world. You deserve to be in the material world. We curse you to go down there. So someone may say, yeah, because the 4 Kumaras cursed him. So the 4 Kumaras are the cause of all this happening. So the cause of all the atrocities are the demons, or are the cause of all the atrocities the 4 Kumaras? And then we hear that Krishna had a desire to fight. Now you go one step further. Krishna had a desire to fight. So who could he fight with anyway? He is not available to those who are materialistic, who are those in Maya. Krishna stays aloof from them. He is not revealed to them. But here he has got to interact and fight with somebody. So it's got to be his devotees. Did he really arrange for all these things to happen? Who is the ultimate cause? See. So therefore, for the common man, it is very hard to know what is the cause. What is the reason behind each thing that happens? And therefore, even though we know the philosophy, if I were to ask anybody, tell me from these, who is the cause? The ultimate cause is always Krishna. So do we blame everything on him? Krishna says, you can't blame me. Here's another amazing thing, that Krishna does. He says, you can't blame me. I have nothing to do with this. But why does he say that? Because we always had a choice. But when you surrender your choice to Krishna's lotus feet, what happens is Krishna starts using you for his purpose. Until you surrender, Krishna doesn't do that. He lets you have your independence. Once you are surrendered, you're serving him in Vaikuntha as 2 doorkeepers. then he decides whatever he wants, he uses you as he sees fit, because you have surrendered your independence to him. And the devotee does not mind that. He lets Krishna use him as he sees fit. That is actually the sign of surrender. So, here in this case, we are reading about Dhruva Maharaj. One yaksha killed, or what is it, one or few? Some yakshas killed Dhruva's brother, Uttama. And then he started left, right, and center killing all the yakshas. And that happens. Sometimes we take out the anger of one person on the whole family. This is actually the way that anger works. You will not just target the person who you think is the cause. I will destroy your whole family. I'm not let anybody live. Become completely angry, and we are supposed to be, anasuya way, completely non-envious. So Dhruva also had all the knowledge. He had actually seen the Lord face to face. He told the Lord, I don't want anything anymore. I was wanting a kingdom of greater than my father or grandfather. But now that I've seen you, Lord, I think I was after broken pieces of glass, but I've got a diamond already instead of that. So I have no desires left. What is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? It's chapter 6. That having obtained this, he thinks that there is no greater gain. You remember the translation? That yam labdva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha yasmin sitona dukhena guru napi vichalyate. Yes, that's the verse. So that yam labdva chaparam labham. Once you obtain this, cha aparam labham. Higher than that labha, there is none. That's what you feel. And na adhikam tataha. Adhik, or higher than that, there is none. So what it actually means is that Dhruva had come to the point where he had given up all material desires. You can put it that way. And now he is affected when his brother got killed. Isn't this a material thing? He had all this philosophy, all that, he saw the Lord, realization came. And now when he concentrates on this, he is forgetting all that. Why does this happen? Someone wants to give some idea why this happens? Even those who are in knowledge, who are realized, who acted on the realization, they still sometimes fall victim to this. Why does this happen? Oh, Krishna's plan. Easy way out. Hard to control the indriyas. No. If you have already got a higher taste, where's the question of indriyas who are getting misled? You've already controlled them. You don't have a taste for that. What is the problem? Huh? Yes?
Because the moment either if you absorb yourself, you don't see it. Perception is always, Indriya's about the time working, so that's what he's doing. He wants.
Yes, but suppose his senses are purified by engaging those senses in Krishna's service. And I said he's come to the point of realizing also. How does he lose that again? What is the cause?
Like you said, he wants to use the devotee. The devotee has the mind.
So this incident of Dhruva Maharaj was perpetrated by Krishna to give a lesson. It could be. Who knows Krishna's plan? But here is another thing. What I wanted to really say to all of that was that what is the constitution of the jiva? He is what kind of energy? He is marginal energy. He is tatastha shakti. He can be either in spiritual realm or he can be in material realm. And we are very minute and we can get influenced. Despite all this, we can get influenced. I mean, we chose to be in this material world, put it that way. We became envious of Krishna and we chose to be here. How could that have happened? So many people ask this. I was with Krishna. It can happen. So we have to be that's why it says complete absorption. And surround yourself by the sadhus. Because if you don't do that on a constant basis, who knows when you can forget about your Vaishnava philosophy and your experience and everything. Forgetfulness can come back to you. You remove Krishna. You don't have to call the darkness when you remove light. Light automatically comes as soon as you remove light. And where it is light, you cannot bring in darkness. You try. Is there any way? It's a lit room and you bring in darkness. No, you can bring in a light and the darkness can go. But it's not the other way around. It never happens. So if you keep Krishna there all the time, then not. And therefore, sometimes, just like Dhruva, after having obtained, Krishna had given him the boon that your desire, he said to Krishna that actually I don't want anything else. My father's or grandfather's kingdom, I have Krishna do. This is many times Krishna has done this to many devotees. The devotees go to Krishna with a material desire. They start worshipping him. They lose their material desire. But Krishna says, I still want you to ask something. And Krishna, along with everything else, gives him the fulfillment of his material desire as well. How we use that material desire after, or the fulfillment of the desire, is got to be also Krishna conscious way. Because if we don't do that, then we fall on again into the same trap. So realization, even to the point of realization, look at the example of Bharat Maharaj. It says that he even gave up his kingdom. He went to the forest. He did so. He was on the stage of bhava, which is like the preliminary stage of love of God to that high extent. And he was a little inattentive. That says that word is used. Inattentive. Slight inattentiveness. He focused on the diya at the time of death and he regretted it. Then he made a firm resolve that no, I will not let this happen again with myself. And just like we were saying the other day, that a child may walk and he may fall again. You pick yourself up, you again start every time. And one day, if you keep praying to Krishna hard enough, Krishna will just bless you and then you will never fall down. Because it's not our desire that will actually make us happen. It's Krishna's mercy which will make us happen. We can desire all we like, but Krishna has to bless us in such a way that Maya will not touch us. Just like Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami was in the womb of his mother. He did not want to come out. In fact, it says he didn't come out for how many years? 16 years. Can you imagine getting a pregnancy around for 16 years? My God. That's amazing. I mean, in this day and age, anybody would have died, right? The child is growing in the womb. And he says, I don't want to come out. Why? Because as soon as I come out into the material world, I'm going to fall in Maya. So the father says, you won't fall in Maya. I'll read you the Bhagavatam. So while he was in the womb, he read the Bhagavatam to him. He said, I'm still not coming out. I'm still not going to come out. He said, why? His father asked him. He said, because you are in Maya. He told his father, Vyasadeva, who wrote all the scriptures, he said, you are in Grihasthashram. You are not, how can I believe your words? Only if Krishna says so, will I come out. Because if he says so, that means I've got his mercy. I have full guarantee I will not fall down. So Krishna actually, Vyasadeva went and brought Krishna. And then he came out and he was not one bit attached to anything. He started walking away. And his father knew that's going to happen. He has no attachment to anything. Even great saintly persons who are much more elderly than Shukadeva Goswami sat in the assembly where Shukadeva Goswami, the young one, was speaking. And all these seniors were actually sitting down listening to him because he was on a very different level. So we find that, if we have taken to the path of Krishna consciousness, if we are not remaining serious, how are we going to actually cross over? Just imagine, those who were even self-realized, who had the darshan of the Lord, still fell into the same trap. What to speak of us little, tiny, insignificant living entities? We have absolutely no hope. We have to grab hold of Prabhupada's feet. Every devotee I talk to, most of the devotees say, my only hope is Prabhupada's back door. Because to become perfect is going to be very, very difficult for me. It's going to be from the back door. Prabhupada had given the assurance, you just do this much and I'll make sure that I'll get you in. So we need the assurance of such great Mahatmas. We hold on to their dhoti or their feet or their whatever, their words. Any part of Prabhupada you can't catch hold of and you never let go, and you are assured. So, I can't hear you. I'm a little deaf.
Almost 8:30.
Almost 8:30, right? Okay, 5 minutes. Should I stop and for any questions? Because there are so many other points here I haven't covered yet. It's not hard and fast. Yeah, but I have to be submissive also to the management. I'm not independent. So anyway, so what are the things that we take from what we have learned in this verse? One of the things is that please do not immediately come to a conclusion about someone has done something wrong to you, that they are at fault. There are 5 factors that we discussed. Who knows? Who knows, we deserved what we got because of our past karma. And this is how a devotee should be thinking. He should be thinking in this manner, that actually whatever wrong is happening to me is not anybody's fault. I can't be getting reverse situations without me being sinful in the past. It is not possible because the devatas arrange everything. How much sukh and how much dukh you're getting. On what basis do they arrange? On the basis of my past. Otherwise, if I'm getting something which I'm not due, then it is a great injustice. And then yet it may happen still, even if you don't deserve. Then someone else gets punished for doing something which was not meant to happen to you. That is also there. So there are so many factors that contribute to it that we should not immediately come to a conclusion about someone being at fault. Now, look at one more thing here. We see that so far, he has been explaining to him, you went through the previous verses. So the Lord is very satisfied with his devotees when the devotees are practicing tolerance, mercy. What is that? The verse. Yeah, tolerance, mercy, equality. This is what the Lord is very satisfied when his devotee greets other people in this manner. Sometimes it says that if your enemy comes to your home, you should treat him in such a way that the enemy doesn't feel like he's come to an enemy's home. We have so many examples like that, or injunctions in the scripture, which actually direct us to the point where we are to become free from, even though we get reverses from others, we still be compassionate upon them. This is Lord Chaitanya's philosophy as well. That if someone is doing something wrong to us, then we should take it a different way than what normal people take it. Jesus Christ also said, that if someone slaps you, give him the other cheek. Someone is, I also heard another thing a devotee said. He said, if you really, some devotee is completely critical of you and trying to find faults in you, you invite him to your yard and you make a house for him, you stay here. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Because the more you criticize me, it's good for me. I become humble. So you are helping me. And Bhakti Saraswati Thakur also said the same thing. He who criticizes me is my friend, and he who praises me is my enemy. Because someone who criticizes me, he makes me introspective. He forces me to look into myself, to see what faults I have, and gives me an opportunity to progress further and become more better. That's the advantage. But if someone praises me, I may think, very nice. This is like, what is it? Sweet humming sound of. Everybody likes praises, actually. Nobody likes to be downtrodden upon. And the reason being because we have a false ego. Otherwise, insults and it says praise should both be looked upon as exactly the same thing. Makes no difference. It should make no difference to you. So if someone can come to that level, the Bhagavatam says that actually he is on a liberated platform. He's on a liberated platform. That's why it says that our main effort should be towards Shaknoti Heva Yashodhum Prak Sharira Mimokshanat Kamat Krodhat Bhavat Bhavam Vegam Sayukta Sasukhi Nara. This person is Sukhi, not Dukhi. What kind of person? The Shaknoti Heva Yashodhum Prak Sharira Mimokshanat. Before leaving the body, Prakshari Varumimokshanat. What does he do? Kama Krodhot Bhavam Vegam. If he can become freed from Kama, Krodha, and Bhava Vega, the pushings of the material nature, if you can become indifferent to that before you leave the body, then such a person, while living in this world, will become very happy under all situations, because nothing seems to affect him. It's a transcendental position. So, where is it gone? So all these arrangement of different bodies that we get, it says here, one of the means are given. Sexual life of man and woman produces more of the same kind, whether it's men and women in human beings or demigods or any other species of life. You know, this is how the creation, maintenance, and then the destruction of the material body takes place. And when the Vaishnava philosophy did not work in convincing Dhruva, now he is being tried to be convinced back to the drawing board by again ABC. Back to the drawing board, explaining to him the material body is only made of 5 elements. He was actually not your brother. By bodily relationship, you have become brother and brother to each other. But actually you are not. You are spirit souls. You were also brothers. You're still brothers. But you have a spiritual relationship with each other. But you became agitated because of the material brothership that got broken. The spiritual brothership has never been broken. And it can never be. Because both are spirit souls. Krishna says, Aham bija pradapita. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. So that brother relationship did not get broken. The material body got destroyed, but nobody can destroy that relationship. So why are you lamenting? So he's going to the drawing board, explaining him now from the material elements point of view, what is happening. Now, please realize. And that way he's giving this understanding. Anyway, maybe I should stop. See if there are any questions. Few minutes. Hare Krishna.
It was mind-blowing, the simple concept that we are brothers, we are human beings, we are linked Paramatma, but we get educated because of human relationship between bodies.
Yeah, as soon as you look at this, as soon as you die, the relationship is over. You know, all that thing about big hype about, oh, you know, they have given songs about this, you know, Janam Janam ka saath hai, you know. So bar maine janam li. How do you know you're going to be together hundreds and hundreds of lives together in different bodies? It's not very true.
That's exactly what he's saying. I see the scripture, we are there.
Now, yes, the body, the possessions, everything at the time of death is purposely taken away by Krishna. He's trying to make us realize these were not good for you. See, now we have lost them again. Come to the permanent relationship. If he let us live forever with our relatives, we will never want to get out of this material world. This is Krishna's way of time and again giving us again a reminder. Hey, you are at the wrong place. Get out of here. Hare Krishna. Right. So I think we should, yes, you have some.
You actually practitioners come out of this mess.
That point is very important. It's a very valid point. How do you get someone's mercy? Okay, how do you increase your chances of winning in a lottery? Because it's a very rare thing to get God's mercy directly. He will give you material things and other things, but to take back to himself and to engage in his direct devotional service, I mean, that's not ordinary. So you really need great mercy from him. How do you, there's such rare chances. Krishna says himself that it's rare to attain that situation. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschidettate siddhaye tatam api siddhanam kaschin mam iti tattva. It is so rare. So if it's so rare to obtain this, then how are you going to increase your chances for it? We increase our chances by, yeah, you do as much as you could. You just go on and on and on. Don't stop. And you keep praying, please give me your mercy. And how do you get your Guru's mercy? How is it that the Guru will give you and be very merciful on you and reveal to you within your heart all the Divya and take you back to Godhead? How does that actually happen? How do you increase your chances of getting your Guru's mercy? By serving his order, his instructions, by serving his body, by giving him all comforts, by always being humble. Gradually you see, my disciple is doing so much for me. And his heart melts towards you. This is what happens, really. So out of all those other people, when compared to them, he will just want to throw more mercy towards you because of what you have shown, your dedication to him. So the only way of increasing our chances of getting Krishna's mercy is our devotional activities. And those activities should be non-stop happening. Abhyabhicharina bhakti. Mam cha yo vyabhicharina bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. You have to abhyabhichari. Our service may be vyabhichari. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't do. So if we keep practicing, a time will come and it will be all just perfect. Don't think you can't become perfect. Prabhupada was perfect. If someone saw sometimes he forgot something. Prabhupada forgot something. That is not imperfection. Just like it is described, look at the moon. The moon has dark spots. Is there any impediment in the moon giving light? No, it has dark spots. It can still give light. So you may find sometimes superficial faults in some devotees, external little things. These do not stop his real, teja or potency. These are not going to stop that if it's a real devotee. It just goes on. So very good point you raised. Yes, Prabhu. You'll have to speak louder.
But then when his brother died, it is also said it was his Kshatriya duty to take him on one side. But as a result of...
He instructed to?
Because the Kshatriya is the king.
That's his duty.
That's his duty. Yeah. So he had to take revenge for that. So it was not unreasonable is what we are need to understand.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, real Kshatriya management means that for one person's fault, not that you kill all the rest. This is the problem. So he was going wholesale killing every yakshasa. So that became out of hand. And therefore, he was not meant to actually go on. And Swayambhuva Manu had to come and remind him that this is not real management. If someone has done one thing, you punish that person, but you don't start punishing the whole clan for that, for that thing. Just like when you come into anger, you will destroy not only that person, you will destroy his whole family. That's what I was talking about. So he's not supposed to do that. And he was getting to that level. And sometimes we get carried away in this wave of duty also. We are thinking that this is my duty to do it. And then we go overboard. We have to know our limits. So Vaishnava will always control himself. If he's a very nice Vaishnava, if you are a Vaishnava in good standing and you're doing something which is inappropriate, what will happen is that the other Vaishnavas who are around, they'll come and help you at that time to remind you that actually this is not right. And if you are a real Vaishnava, You will realize your mistake and you'll accept it. But if you are an arrogant person, then who is he to tell me? It'll be a different way. Right? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanand.